As a child, I was obsessed with circuses and freak shows, monsters and mermaids, Alice in Wonderland and the Wizard of Oz, aliens, mutants. I escaped into a fantasy world full of girls who flew, girls who breathed underwater, girls with glittering silver scales and wide, coal black wings, girls who touched the Milky Way at the bottom of the ocean with their bare, shimmering hands. I'd spend hours alone in my room with my thoughts and my books and the vast and gorgeous world of my mind. A world where houses fell on witches, and just a bite of cake could make your body skyrocket up into the clouds. Just a sip from the drink me bottle could bring you back down again. My intersex story is about the ways that my body and my brain raced ahead of everyone around me, about growing up fast and being left to figure out what was happening on my own. Muscle that built quick, hair in unexpected places, desire so intense it knocked me flat on my back and left me panting. The usual signs of puberty, yes, but it started in second grade for me. For many of us, intersex is a source of trauma and shame, something that has to do with secrets and whispers, the knife and the needle and the place before memory happened. What our parents did, what the doctors did, what got taken away. And I'm terrified to talk about this tonight because my story is not everyone else's, because in many ways, I'm lucky. What was taken away from me was not a part of my body, it was a sense of safety, a grounding, and a soft place to land. I was not put under the knife or on the pill. I was not subjected to the body scrutiny of the hospital room and medical students with the camera rolling and notepads in tow, and yet I carry those stories with me, reminders of what could have been, reminders of what happens far too often, still. No, my scrutiny was from my family, my grandmother, my mother, and great aunts, surprise and shame, passed down just like their hats, and sweaters, and slippers. How did the senoras in my family get so good at turning my body into the center of attention with just one sentence? You know, one of those asides that Nana pretends is just meant for Ma, but she says it loud enough for you and the rest of the family to hear, and she gestures very grandly towards her newly sprouted breasts while she says it. I could write an entire book about the art of the Southern Italian old lady stage whisper. The way those women gingerly tiptoe around a room, unassuming, polite, jovial, and then they grab right for your heart and leave you gasping. Well, look at that. She's just a little girl and she's developing already. Can you believe it? She needs a bra, and my poor sister Irene, she didn't believe that she was 15. What is this world coming to, eh? My story is about having to cobble together what I was, puzzle piece by puzzle piece, having to decode the mysteries of myself, which is different from growing up trans, absolutely, but it's not dissimilar. When I first got diagnosed with congenital adrenal hyperplasia, two of my biggest systems of support around everything from childhood trauma to figuring out medical care were my best friend and my girlfriend, both of whom were trans women. I broke down so many times that summer in their arms, over the phone, over the internet on a secret live journal filter where I documented every doctor's appointment, every acupuncturist visit, all the different herbs I took, all the memory. And they both gave me that soft place to land, an intense and deep empathy. I could talk about the ways that I never felt like I fit the right narrative of girlhood. I was always too hairy, too fat, too sexual, too smart, too precocious. My shoulders were too broad, my body and my sex drive and my desire weren't feminine enough, and they could relate. Our experiences were not the same, but they were similar enough that we were able to support each other. Me and my best friend started making a habit of going shopping for clothes together. I'd be her trans girl shopping support, and she'd be my fat girl shopping support. And it made what had previously been a demoralizing experience a nice thing to do with a friend. My girlfriend encouraged me to grow out my facial hair, which I'd never been brave enough to do. I actually liked my chin whiskers. I couldn't believe it. There is a wonder in the gifts of this growth that gave my body. There are assets in what the doctors deemed defective in me. You have an overabundance of testosterone, said the doctor who diagnosed me when I was 24. Sympathetic, pitying, looking at me like he just told me I was going to die. Like my own hormones coursing through my own blood were now my worst enemy. were not even really a part of me, but were instead some invading force that needed to be conquered. He told me that the best way to cure my CAH was hormones that would in part lower my masculine sex drive, and surgery where they cut out my adrenal glands. That the parts of me that had caused my difference were something to be excised. I almost fell out of my chair when he said this. Not in shock, but in anger. I resented the implication that my body should be at war with itself. Because the flip side of the early puberty, of feeling like a freak, of feeling outcast and weird and not fitting, the flip side of all of this was the wonderland of my own skin. The wonderland of my dreams, the mermaids and bird girls and dusty books that kept me company in my discoveries. My body, strange and magic, wondrous and scary, a funhouse mirror, a Ferris wheel, glittery cotton candy, sugar sticky on my hands and face, getting caught up in my curls. The flip side of not fitting is empathy, compassion. The flip side is a body that feels so much, a body that is so strong, a body that can come in 3 minutes flat, a body that can come without even being touched. The flip side of freakishness is how bright and shining and special we all are. I did not want that doctor to take that away from me. Not my body, not my body. I worked so fucking hard to love. My stories do not have to be a secret my body holds anymore.
Yeah.
When I was 16, hungry for injury, I used to draw my fingernails across my chest like this, ragged red trouble over my ribs, hands beating blue-green punishment into my sides and shoulders, palms stinging across my face. I did this. I wore sharp thorn garlands under my button-up shirts like a desert saint. I did this while learning the wrongness in my body. I did this fighting against my shape. I did this aching and aching to crack open the husk of this fictional trap and make my way into light. I did this, smearing my face in the mirror in the dark perigee of teenage wonderment. I did this, grinding my teeth and afraid. And now I ask you to do this. Your fingernails across my back, red trouble just where I want it, blue-green signatures across my breasts, the right sting on my jawline, to tell me this body is adored. To do this under my shirt and around my thighs, to remind me that I am here, that this is my flesh, inescapable, that this is home. We do this now. I have jettisoned the flagellating monk, striving for a way out of here. I have set an end to the way this pain was punishment for hands and hips and shoulders I could not forgive. And when I am constricted, it is an embrace, not a jail cell. Because what is queer love if it is not this? What is queer love if not that moment when, with nobody else in the room, I can still look at an unfamiliar territory, an unfamiliar body I have been ordered not to love, and say, hello, I can learn you. I can put my hands in and change the wicked into the sweet. I can know you. With no hands but mine, I can find muscle and bone I was told to hate. I can find that girl they said it is shameful to look at and worse to touch. I can teach her. I can hold it. What is queer love if not this chance to change the story? To rename and reinterpret and say this is sex today and tomorrow it is breakfast. To say this is where my mouth goes. To say this is where my hands will cut. Smooth red treble until we recognize each other. What is the strangeness of a woman and a woman if it is not my meeting myself and breaking the story into something new? When I was a little girl, squeezing into the heart of the rose bushes, I used to break off the thorns, pop, pop, and turn them right around and shove them back, point first, into the stem, right where they'd been attached. Turn them around, turn them inward. I thought it would keep me safe. I thought that the roses might like it better that way, not hurting anyone. That there would be room. But I grew briar tall and twice as tangled till today. I made a new thing and I grew them right back out. What is queer love? but this trouble, this new poetry, this hope for a moment when that bright lit highway is nowhere fast, and it's the thorn hedge, it's narrow squeeze through to find that girl asleep, that red trouble and tall climb to wake her up. In this story, I am the monster still, and I am the bloody briar. And I am the sweet butch with shining sword drag, and I am the girl in the tower unending. What is queer love? But meeting ourselves and loving what we meet. Forgiving our bodies and holding them tight and asking how to make them sing. What is queer love? What is queer trouble? But this.
Not only was that beautiful, but I'm excited because we still have almost the whole show left still. So it was awesome, and we still get more. It'll get sadder as it goes on. I'm just joking. Okay. It's going to be a wonderful experience the whole way around.